Being nice is the most dangerous thing you can be. You've been wearing it like armor, when it's actually the leash they use to drag you through life. You think it's kindness, but look closer. It's a survival reflex, a performance you were taught to perform, so people would stop punishing you for having a spine. You don't say what you want because you were trained to believe that wanting anything is dangerous. You apologize for existing. You smile when you're disrespected. And you call that being a good person. But here's what no one tells you. That niceness you're so proud of, it's not strength. It's a quiet, slow form of self-erasure. Wait, this is where it gets dangerous. Because the moment you stop performing, the moment you become unreasonably, uncomfortably direct, people don't get hurt. They get scared. Because for the first time, they realize they were never respected by you. They were just managed. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. If that sentence just hit you, you already belong here. Like the video if you're ready to stop performing. Subscribe if you want to see what others refuse to notice. Comment "so bearing" if you felt that. And share this with someone still wearing the mask. Day 1. The shock of saying no. You've been trained to betray yourself, and you don't even realize it. Every time you said yes when your entire body was screaming no, you weren't being kind. You were performing self-erasure, and the world has come to expect it from you. Today we stop. Day 1. The first time you say no to something you've always said yes to. And what happens next will make your stomach drop. Let's get one thing straight. The word no is not a sentence. It's a weapon. And you've left it in the sheath your entire life. You've been told that nice people are agreeable, that good people don't create friction, that if you set a boundary, you are the problem. Who taught you that? Think about it. Who benefits from you having no walls? The person asking for your time, the energy vampire, the friend who only calls when they need something, the boss who hands you their responsibilities, the culture that demands your comfort so theirs remains intact. You've been a human pacifier, and you called it virtue. Day 1 begins with a text, or a request. It's mundane, a favor, something you've done a dozen times before. Your thumb hovers over the keyboard, your chest tightens, and that voice, the one you've mistaken for your conscience, whispers, "Just say yes, it's easier." Here's the dark truth. That voice isn't protecting your relationships, it's protecting your prison. You type the 2 letters, N-O, you hit send, and then the wait. Your heart pounds, you check your phone. 3 seconds, 10 seconds. Your mind races through scenarios. They're angry, they're confused. They're going to think you're selfish. They're going to see the real you, the one you've been hiding. But here's what nobody tells you about that moment. The guilt you feel, that's not guilt, that's withdrawal. Your nervous system is detoxing from a lifetime of self-betrayal. You've been addicted to approval, and you just took your first hit of rejection. Let that sink in. Read that again. You are addicted to approval. When the reply comes, it's not what you expected. Maybe it's a simple okay, maybe it's silence, maybe it's a surprised, "Oh, sure." And suddenly you realize something terrifying. The world didn't end. The person didn't collapse. You just discovered that your no was never the problem. The problem was your belief that you didn't have the right to use it. But wait, there's a darker layer here, one most people never get to, because you're going to notice something over the next few hours. Something subtle. Something that will make your skin prickle. Some people will push back. And this is where it gets dangerous. They'll question you. "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" You never say no. They'll frame your boundary as a symptom, as if the only reason you'd assert yourself is because you're broken. This is not concern. This is a control check. They are testing to see if your boundaries are negotiable. They are waiting for you to apologize, to explain, to over-explain, to make them feel comfortable with your discomfort. And here's the most uncomfortable truth of all. When you don't, when you simply let your no stand without justification, you will watch their face change. Confusion, then frustration, then something else. something that looks like recognition. Because in that moment, they're not seeing a difficult person. They're seeing a person who is no longer controllable. And for the first time in your life, you are seeing them clearly too. You've spent years curating a version of yourself designed to be palatable. You thought it made you safe. You thought it made you liked. But look at the evidence. How many people in your life know the real you? Not the accommodating version. Not the whatever you want version. Not the person who apologizes for having needs. Be honest. When you say yes to everyone else, you are saying no to yourself. And every time you do it, you etch deeper the belief that you don't matter as much as they do. That is the quiet violence of niceness. Day one is not about transforming your life. Day one is about one thing only: experiencing the shock of reality when the facade cracks. The first to know is the hardest because it's not just a word. It's a funeral. You are burying the version of you that existed to serve others' comfort. And here's what you'll notice by the end of the night. The guilt fades faster than you thought it would. And in its place, something rises, something unfamiliar. A small, quiet voice that says, "I am still here." That voice is you. Not the performance, not the role you. But I need to warn you. This is where most people quit, because tomorrow the guilt tries to return. The mind starts bargaining. That was too harsh. You should apologize. You should clarify. You should go back to being safe. They will pull you back to the identity you just escaped. And most people let them, but not you, because you're about to learn something that changes the game entirely. Something about why no is actually the most attractive word in your vocabulary, and why the people who truly matter will respect you more for it. You felt the guilt. You saw the reactions. You survived the shift. But what happens when the guilt becomes power? That's day two. And what you're about to realize next changes everything. Day two, the guilt trap. Guilt is not a conscience. Guilt is a leash. And someone has been holding it your entire life. You woke up this morning with a weight in your chest. A vague sense that you did something wrong. You replay yesterday, the no, the boundary, the moment you refused to perform. And now your mind is punishing you. This is the trap. Day two is where almost everyone breaks. Not because they don't have the strength, but because they mistake guilt for evidence. Let me ask you something. When did you start believing that discomfort equals wrongdoing? You set one boundary, one. And now your brain is generating a highlight reel of every reason you should apologize. It's replaying their face, their silence, their subtle shift in tone. You've felt this before, haven't you? That nagging voice that says, you were too harsh, you overreacted, you're going to lose them. But here's the part nobody tells you. That voice is not yours. Read that again. That voice is not yours. It's the voice of every person who trained you to prioritize their comfort over your existence. It's the voice of a culture that rewards self-sacrifice and calls it virtue. It's the voice of systems that require you to be small so they can stay comfortable. You've internalized their expectations so deeply that now you police yourself on their behalf. Let that sink in. You are doing their work for them, for free, in your own head. Day two is the emotional withdrawal phase, and you need to understand what's actually happening. When you say yes to everyone, you receive a steady drip of external validation, approval, acceptance, the feeling of being needed. It's not real connection, but it's consistent. When you say no, you cut the supply, and your nervous system reacts exactly like an addict going cold turkey. The anxiety, the rumination, the urge to text them and fix it, the desperate need to make the discomfort stop. But wait, here's where it gets dark. Because while you're sitting in that guilt, convincing yourself you're the problem, someone else is watching. They're waiting to see how long it takes before you crack. Before you send the apology text, before you over-explain, before you offer twice as much to make up for the one no. This is manipulation disguised as disappointment. And you've been falling for it your whole life. Let me show you something most people never realize. When someone responds to your boundary with silence, coldness, or a passive-aggressive comment, they are not hurt, they are negotiating. They are teaching you that your autonomy comes with a cost. They are conditioning you to associate self-respect with punishment. It's the oldest control tactic in human history, and it works until you see it. So let's name it. That guilt you're feeling? It's not shame. It's the resistance of a system that's losing control over you. Every cell in your body that was trained to serve is screaming right now. And the scream feels like guilt, but it's actually the sound of your old identity dying. This is the moment, right here. Because if you can sit in this discomfort without running from it, without texting them, without undoing your boundary, something shifts. Something inside you clicks. You realize that the guilt doesn't kill you. It doesn't even touch you. It just passes through like a wave. And on the other side of it is clarity. And for the first time, you see them clearly. You see the subtle manipulations, the guilt trips dressed as concern. I just thought we were closer than that. The wow, okay, you've changed. Let me translate those for you. I just thought we were closer than that means, I thought I had more control over you. Wow, okay, you've changed means, you've stopped letting me use you. Read that again. They are not mourning your relationship. They are mourning their access to you. That is the truth. Nobody tells you about boundaries. They don't ruin real relationships. They reveal them. And what you see on day 2 is who was actually standing beside you, and who was just standing in front of you, blocking your path. Here's what most people never get to experience. When you hold the boundary, just hold it without explaining, without fixing, without crawling back. You will feel something unfamiliar rise in your chest. It's not anger, it's not pride. It's something quieter, something older. It's the sensation of your own spine. You've spent so long bending that you forgot you had one, but it's there. And every time you refuse to break, it gets stronger. This is the first glimpse of personal power. Not the power to control others, but the power to stop betraying yourself. The power to let others feel however they want to feel. You can go back, apologize, re-establish the old dynamic, become the nice person they expect, feel the temporary relief of approval, and stay trapped. Or you can stay here, in the discomfort, in the truth, and watch what happens when you stop being the person they trained you to be. Because tomorrow, something unexpected happens. The guilt starts to fade, and in its place, something dangerous emerges. Something that makes people uncomfortable in a completely different way. Something they can't manipulate. And when you experience that for the first time, you'll understand why they worked so hard to keep it buried. Day 3 is where you stop defending your boundaries and start wielding them. And what happens next will make you question every relationship you've ever had. Day 3. People start acting different. You changed one thing, and now everyone around you is shifting like tectonic plates. And nobody warned you this would happen. Yesterday you sat in the guilt. You didn't break. You didn't text. You didn't apologize for having a spine. And something in the social fabric around you cracked. Today you're noticing things, subtle things. The kind of things you can't prove, but you absolutely feel. The way they look at you, the pause before they speak. The slight hesitation before they make a request they used to make without thinking. You felt this before, haven't you? That moment when the dynamic shifts and you can't quite name what's different. Let me name it for you. They are recalculating. Your entire life, you've been a known quantity. Reliable, predictable, safe. People have built their expectations around your availability, your time, your energy, your willingness to bend. And now, you're not bending. This is not about one. No, this is about what that no represents. A permanent shift in the architecture of how you operate. And human beings, they hate unpredictable architecture. Here's what you'll notice today. Some people will become careful. Their tone will soften. They'll phrase requests as questions instead of assumptions. They'll ask if you have time instead of telling you what they need. Wait, Here's the part nobody tells you. This isn't respect. Not yet. This is testing. They are probing to see if your new behavior is a mood or a metamorphosis. They are checking to see if the old you is still in there somewhere waiting to come back. And then there are the others, the ones who distance themselves. You'll feel it. A text that goes unanswered. A plan that suddenly gets complicated. A slight chill in conversations that used to be warm. Your mind will race. What did I do? What did I say? Should I reach out? Stop. Let that sink in. The people who distance themselves when you set boundaries were never close to you. They were close to what you gave them. Read that again. They were close to what you gave them, not to you. When you stop being a resource, you find out who actually sees you as a person. This is the beginning of social recalibration. And it's brutal, because it forces you to see your relationships for what they actually are, not what you hoped they were. But here's the twist, the one nobody prepares you for. While some people pull away, others move closer, not dramatically, not with words. You'll notice it in the small things. They'll respect your time more. They'll stop asking for last-minute favors. They'll start checking in on you instead of just checking what you can do for them. And here's what will haunt you when you realize it. These people were there the whole time. You just couldn't see them, because your attention was consumed by the ones who were taking from you. Let that land. You've been so busy managing the expectations of the takers. You've been invisible to the ones who actually value you. Day 3 is where the mask slips, for everyone. And you're going to feel something dangerous today, something that scares you almost as much as the guilt did, anger. You're going to look at some of these people, the ones pulling away, the ones treating your boundary like a betrayal, and you're going to feel rage rising in your chest. You gave them years. You bent, you accommodated. You said yes when you meant no. You showed up when you were empty, and the moment you stop, they disappear. That anger is not your enemy. That anger is your self-respect waking up. It's been dormant your entire life, and now it's opening its eyes. But here's where most people get it wrong. They take that anger and they turn it inward. They start doubting themselves. Maybe I was too harsh. Maybe I'm the problem. No. The anger is telling you something. It's telling you the price you paid. It's showing you the imbalance you carry. It's revealing the truth that your niceness was hiding from you. Some of these relationships, they weren't relationships, they were arrangements, and you were the only one who didn't know. Now you know. So what do you do with this information? You don't confront them. You don't call them out. You don't try to prove that you're still good. You watch. Because how people respond to your boundaries is the most honest thing they will ever show you. And today you're seeing it for the first time with clear eyes. The ones who respect you, they'll show you. The ones who used you, they'll show you too. And by the end of today, something shifts inside you. Something permanent. You stop asking, do they like me? And you start asking, do I like how I feel around them? That question changes everything. Because tomorrow, you're going to realize something that will make you question every social rule you've ever been taught. Something about why people actually respect those who don't seek their approval. And it's going to terrify you until you start using it. Day 3 showed you who stays. Day 4 shows you who you've been becoming. And what you discover next will make you grateful for every person who walked away. Day 4. Confrontation and control. They finally snapped. You knew it was coming. The silence, the distance, the recalibration. And now someone is standing in front of you demanding that the old you come back. And this is where everything changes. You've been trained your entire life to handle this moment a certain way. Someone challenges you. Someone expresses disappointment. Someone frames your boundary as a personal attack. And your programming says, explain, defend, apologize, soften, make it better. But today, something different happens. Today, you don't. Let me show you what's actually happening right now. The person confronting you is not confused. They are not hurt. They are executing the final phase of control, the escalation. First came the testing, then came the distance, and now comes the confrontation. Because they need to know if your new spine is real, and they need to break it before it becomes permanent. This is not conflict. This is an audit of your resolve. And here's the part nobody tells you about this moment. The more emotional they get, the more powerful you become. Read that again. The more emotional they get, the more powerful you become. Because here's what they're expecting. They're expecting you to match their energy, to get defensive, to raise your voice, to cry, to explain yourself into exhaustion. They are waiting for you to prove that your boundary was just a mood, that the real you, the accommodating, anxious, people-pleasing you, is still in there, ready to crumble. And when you don't, when you stand there, calm, still unshaken, something in them breaks. Let that sink in. The most dangerous thing you can do to someone trying to control you is nothing. No reaction, no defense, no performance, just presence. You say what you mean. You don't soften it. You don't dress it up in apologies. I'm not available for that. I'm not going to discuss this. That doesn't work for me. Simple, direct, unmovable. And suddenly, the person in front of you doesn't know what to do. Their script doesn't work without your participation. Their manipulation requires your guilt. Their control requires your fear. You just took both off the table. But wait, here's where it gets uncomfortable. Because in the silence that follows, you're going to feel something unexpected, something that might make you doubt yourself. You're going to feel nothing, no guilt, no anxiety, no urge to fix. And that absence of emotion, it's going to terrify you at first. Because you've been taught that caring means feeling everything. That love means absorbing their emotions. That connection means merging with their chaos. But what you're experiencing right now is not coldness. It's detachment. And detachment is not the absence of care. It's the absence of enmeshment. Let me say that again. Detachment is not the absence of care. It's the absence of enmeshment. You can finally see the situation without being consumed by it. And from this vantage point, you see everything clearly. You see that this person isn't fighting for the relationship. They're fighting for the dynamic, the one where you give and they take, the one where your needs were invisible and theirs were urgent. You see that the conflict was never about what just happened. It was about the 1,000 times before when you said yes and should have said no. It was about the precedent you set that they now feel entitled to enforce. And here's the dark truth that will change how you see every future confrontation. Conflict doesn't break relationships. It reveals the foundation they were built on. If the relationship was built on mutual respect, the conflict passes. You speak, you clarify, you move forward. If the relationship was built on your compliance, the conflict ends the relationship because there was nothing else holding it together. This is the moment of truth, and today, you're going to realize something that will rewire your entire social existence. You're not losing people, you're losing illusions. The people who walk away when you stop performing, they were never walking beside you. They were walking in front of you, leading you by a leash you didn't know you were wearing. And the ones who stay, the ones who meet your calm with curiosity instead of fury, the ones who say, I noticed something's different, and I respect it, those were your people. You just couldn't see them through the noise of everyone who was using you. Day 4 is the pivot point. You faced the confrontation. You held the line. You discovered that your calm is armor, and your directness is a weapon they can't counter. And now, you have a choice. You can go back to performing. You can apologize for the clarity. You can reestablish the old dynamics and live small again. Or you can step into what's waiting for you on the other side. Because tomorrow, something unexpected happens. Something that will make you realize why everyone around you is so desperate to keep you in the old role. Tomorrow, you find out what happens when people start seeking your approval. And that shift changes the entire game. Day 4 showed you how to stand still while the world tries to move you. Day 5 shows you what happens when the world starts moving toward you. And what you discover next will make you wonder why you ever apologized for existing. Day 5. The rise of self-respect. You woke up this morning, and something was missing. The weight, the dread, the constant low hum of anxiety that has lived in your chest for as long as you can remember. It's gone. And for a moment, you don't know what to do with the silence. This is Day 5, and you are not the same person who started this week. Let me tell you what's happening inside you right now, because nobody warns you about this part. Everyone talks about the conflict, the guilt, the people you lose, but nobody tells you what it feels like when the addiction finally breaks. You've been addicted to approval your entire life, and like any addiction, it had withdrawal symptoms. The anxiety, the rumination, the desperate urge to text to explain, to make everyone comfortable again. But you didn't relapse. You sat in the discomfort. You faced the confrontation. You let people walk away without chasing them. And now, your nervous system is recalibrating. Read that again. Your nervous system is recalibrating. The constant vigilance is fading. The hyper-awareness of everyone else's mood is quieting. The part of your brain that was always scanning for threats. Are they upset? Did I do something wrong? Do they still like me? Is finally resting, and in that silence, you're meeting yourself for the first time. Let that sink in. You have spent your entire life performing for an audience that was never going to give you the standing ovation you deserved. You thought if you were just nice enough, just accommodating enough, just self-sacrificing enough, someone would finally see you. Someone would finally validate that you mattered. But here's the dark truth that Day 5 reveals. The validation you were chasing was never going to come, because the people who demand your self-betrayal are incapable of rewarding your authenticity. You were begging for water from a well you knew was empty. And now, you've stopped begging, and something miraculous is happening. You're starting to trust yourself. Not the version of you that says yes when you mean no. Not the version that apologizes for existing. Not the version that shrinks to make others feel big. You, the one who stood in the confrontation and didn't break. The one who felt the guilt and didn't run. The one who watched people walk away and let them go. That version of you, that version is real, and she's been waiting in the shadows your entire life for permission to exist. Wait, here's the part nobody tells you about self-respect. It doesn't feel like pride, doesn't feel like arrogance, it doesn't feel like power in the way you imagined. It feels like quiet. The noise in your head is gone, the constant second-guessing, the endless replay of conversations, the desperate strategizing about how to be liked. And in its place is something you've never experienced before. Clarity. You know what you want. You know what you don't want. You know who deserves your energy and who was stealing it. And the most terrifying part, you don't feel the need to explain any of it. This is the rise of self-respect. And it's not about becoming harder. It's about becoming whole. But here's where most people get trapped. They get to Day 5. They feel the clarity, they taste the freedom, and then they panic. They think, is this who I am now? Cold, distant, unfeeling? No, you're not cold. You're no longer on fire trying to keep everyone else warm. You're not distant. You're no longer fused to people who were draining you. You're not unfeeling. You're finally feeling what you feel, instead of absorbing what everyone else feels. This is the difference between enmeshment and connection, and you're experiencing it for the first time. Let me give you a quote to carry with you. Your boundaries are not walls, they are doors. And for the first time, you get to decide who enters. Read that again. For years, your life was a revolving door. Anyone could walk in, anyone could take, anyone could demand. And you stood there holding it open, telling yourself this was kindness. Now, you're standing at the threshold, and you're realizing something profound. You don't have to be mean to have boundaries. You just have to be clear. And the people who belong in your life, they don't need you to be doorless. They're happy to knock. They're honored to be invited. They respect the space you've created because they have their own. Day 5 is the day you realize that self-respect is not something you earn. It's something you stop betraying. You didn't become more valuable by setting boundaries. You stopped acting like you were worthless, and the world is responding accordingly. The part of you that's been waiting for permission to exist. The version of you that was always there, buried under years of yes and sorry, and it's fine. Tomorrow you meet her, and she's not who you expected. Day 5 gave you clarity. Day 6 gives you yourself. And what you discover next will make you grateful for every single person who ever made you feel like you weren't enough. Because they were the ones who finally forced you to become everything. Day 6, the power shift. They're listening to you now, and it's terrifying you more than their silence ever did. Yesterday you felt the quiet rise inside you, the clarity, the calm. Today the world outside is starting to match the world inside, and the shift is so subtle, so invisible that you almost missed it. Until you spoke. You said something today, a simple statement, a preference, a boundary. Nothing you haven't said before, but this time nobody argued, nobody questioned, nobody pushed back, nobody tried to convince you otherwise. They just nodded. And you stood there waiting for the resistance, the negotiation, the guilt trip, the familiar dance where you explain, justify, defend, and eventually cave. But it never came. Let that sink in. You said less, and they listened more. This is the power shift. And it's not happening because you became louder. It's happening because you became still. Here's the dark truth nobody tells you about authority. Loudness is not power. It's the absence of it. People who need to raise their voice, repeat themselves, explain their position, and demand to be heard are people who have already lost control. Real authority doesn't announce itself. It's felt. And today, for the first time in your life, people are feeling yours. Wait. Here's the part nobody tells you. They're not responding to your words. They're responding to your nervous system. For years, your body broadcasted a signal. I'm uncertain. I'm anxious. I need you to approve of me. I will bend if you push. And people received that signal. They didn't consciously think about it, but they felt it. And they responded accordingly by pushing. Now, your body is broadcasting something entirely different. I'm calm. I'm certain. I don't need anything from you. I will not move. And people feel that too. And their response is instinctive, biological, unconscious. They stop pushing because their nervous system recognizes something it cannot break. Read that again. Their nervous system recognizes something it cannot break. This is the quiet dominance of emotional control. And it's the most powerful position you can occupy in any room, any relationship, any negotiation. You're not threatening anyone. You're not aggressive. You're not even trying to control them. You are simply unmovable. And unmovable things don't get pushed. They get navigated around. They get respected. They get listened to. Let me show you what's actually happening. You used to enter every interaction with an unconscious agenda. Make them like me. Keep them comfortable. Avoid conflict at all costs. That agenda made you transparent, predictable, exploitable. Your agenda is different. Or more accurately, you don't have one. You're not trying to get anything from anyone. You're not performing. You're not managing their perception of you. You're just present. And presence in a world full of people desperate for approval is magnetic. This is where it gets dangerous. Because now people are starting to treat you differently in ways you didn't expect. They're asking for your opinion before they make decisions. They're checking in with you before they assume your time. They're apologizing when they're late. They're thanking you when you give them something, instead of expecting it. And part of you wants to reject this. Part of you whispers, "This isn't right. This isn't who I am. I'm not above anyone. I'm not better than anyone." That voice is your old programming, trying to pull you back into smallness. You're not above anyone. You're finally beside yourself. And that changes how people can stand beside you. Here's the quote that will rewire your understanding of power. People don't respect those who respect everyone. They respect those who are selective about who they respect. Read that again. When you give your time, your energy, your attention, your approval to everyone equally, you devalue it. It becomes cheap, expected, taken for granted. When you become selective, when your yes means something because your no means something, your attention becomes valuable. Your time becomes currency. Your approval becomes something people actually want to earn. This is not manipulation. This is mathematics. You cannot charge a premium for something you give away for free. Day 6 is showing you the invisible architecture of respect. And it's revealing something that will unsettle you. You didn't lose people because you became unkind. You lost people because you became unavailable. And the ones who stayed, they're not staying because they're tolerant. They're staying because they respect you. But here's the final layer, the one that changes everything. Tomorrow is day 7, the end of the experiment. The moment you decide what happens next, you have a choice. You can go back, return to the old patterns, apologize for the shift, explain that you were just going through something, rebuild the bridges you burned, become nice again. Or you can stay. You can integrate everything you've learned. You can make this new version of yourself permanent. You can stop being nice and start being real. Day 6 showed you how others respond to power. Day 7 shows you how to wield it without losing yourself. And what you're about to discover next will determine the rest of your life. Day 7. Who you become. You are not who you were 7 days ago. And the person looking back at you in the mirror, she doesn't recognize the life you were living before. Let's be honest about what just happened. You didn't learn to say no. You learned that you were allowed to exist. You didn't set boundaries. You discovered that you were the only one who wasn't respecting them. You didn't lose people. You lost the obligation to carry them. And somewhere between day 1 and today, you stopped asking for permission to be real. This is day 7, and the transformation is complete. But here's what nobody tells you about transformation. It doesn't feel like becoming someone new. It feels like coming home to someone you abandoned a long time ago. Read that again. You didn't become someone new. You stopped abandoning yourself. Let me show you what actually happened this week. Day 1, you felt guilt. Day 2, you sat in it without running. Day 3, you watched people recalibrate. Day 4, you faced confrontation without breaking. Day 5, you met your own calm. Day 6, you experienced what it feels like to be respected instead of used. And now, day 7, you're sitting here, looking back at the past week, and you realize something that will change the trajectory of your entire life. You were never weak. You were conditioned. Let that sink in. You were taught that your needs were secondary. You were trained that your discomfort was the price of love. You were programmed to believe that being nice meant being small, quiet, convenient, and available. And you believed it because you were taught by people who benefited from your belief. This is the dark truth that most people never uncover. Your niceness was not a personality. It was a survival strategy. A mask you wore so early and so consistently that you forgot it wasn't your face. You didn't choose to be a people pleaser. You adapted to an environment that punished you for having needs. And that adaptation kept you safe until it became a prison. But here's the part that will make your chest tighten. You didn't need to be fixed. You needed to be freed. And freedom, you now know, looks nothing like you imagined. It's not loud. It's not aggressive. It's not cold. It's the ability to say no without explaining. It's the capacity to watch someone walk away and feel relief instead of panic. It's the quiet certainty that your worth does not fluctuate based on who approves of you. This is emotional independence, and it is the most valuable thing you will ever own. Wait, here's the part nobody tells you about emotional independence. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop needing. You still love. You still give. You still show up for people. But you do it from choice, not obligation. You do it because you want to, not because you're afraid of what happens if you don't. And that distinction, that's the difference between a lifetime of resentment and a life of genuine connection. Let me give you a quote to carry with you. The same people who called you difficult for setting boundaries will call you powerful for maintaining them. Read that again, because it's true. The ones who distance themselves this week, they'll be back. And when they return, they'll return differently. They'll approach with more care, more respect, more awareness that you are no longer a resource to be extracted. And the ones who stayed, the ones who honored your shift without resistance, those are your people. Those are the ones who saw you when you were performing and stayed. And they see you now, real, unmasked, unapologetic, and they're still here. You didn't lose your tribe this week. You filtered them. Day 7 is not the end. It's the beginning of something you've never had before. A life where your yes means something because your no means something. A life where your energy is protected instead of depleted. A life where you are not performing kindness, but embodying authenticity. And here's the final truth, the one that will echo in your mind long after this video ends. You are not too much. You never were. You were just too much for people who wanted too little from themselves. You are not difficult. You are clear, and clarity, to people who thrive on confusion, will always feel like a threat. You are not changed. You are revealed. And what was revealed this week was always there, waiting for you to stop burying it under the weight of everyone else's expectations. So here's your choice. You can go back. You can apologize for the growth. You can shrink again. You can be nice and quiet and available and small. You can return to the prison where at least everyone approved of your chains. Or you can stay here, in the discomfort of being seen, in the power of being real, in the freedom of being someone who no longer asks permission to exist. Day 7 showed you who you are. Now the question is, will you stay? The week is over. But the real experiment has just begun. And what happens next is up to you. The truth about kindness, weakness, you've been lied to. And the lie is so common, so woven into the fabric of how you were raised, that you've never thought to question it. The lie is this: being nice makes you good. Being kind makes you weak. And saying no makes you cruel. Let me show you why that lie has cost you everything. You've spent your life confusing two things that are not the same: niceness and kindness. They share a neighborhood, but they are not the same house. And mistaking one for the other has turned you into a vending machine that people walk up to, press a button, and expect to dispense. Niceness is performative. Niceness says yes when it means no. Niceness smiles while it's bleeding. Niceness avoids conflict because conflict might reveal the truth. Kindness is different. Kindness says no when yes would enable harm. Kindness tells the truth even when it's uncomfortable. Kindness respects both giver and receiver enough to be honest. Let that sink in. Niceness is a transaction. Kindness is a choice. Here's the part nobody tells you. When you are nice to everyone, you are not being generous. You are being indiscriminate. And indiscriminate giving devalues what you give. It tells people your time, your energy, your attention, and your resources are not precious. They are default. They are expected. They are owed. Read that again. You trained people to expect what should have been a gift. And then you resented them for expecting it. But the resentment was misdirected. They weren't the problem. Your inability to say no was. This is the dark truth about human nature that the be nice crowd doesn't want you to know. People do not respect what they do not earn, and they do not value what costs them nothing. When you give your time to anyone who asks, you signal that your time has no value. When you agree to anything, you signal that your agreement means nothing. When you never say no, your yes becomes invisible. But here's where it gets dangerous. When you finally do say no, when you finally set a boundary, people don't think how generous they've been all these years. They think, what's wrong with them? Why are they being difficult? This is the trap. The more you give, the more they expect. The more you bend, the more they demand. The more you suppress yourself, the more they take your presence for granted, and you call this being good. Let me redefine goodness for you. Goodness is not the absence of boundaries. Goodness is the presence of integrity. Goodness is not giving everyone what they want. Goodness is giving what is true, what is fair, what is sustainable. A river without banks is not generous. It's a flood. It destroys everything in its path, including itself. Banks are not cruelty. Banks are structure. Boundaries are not selfish. Boundaries are the container that allows genuine giving to happen without resentment. Wait, here's the part that will make you uncomfortable. Strength is selective. Strength says no to 90 things, so it can say a powerful yes to 10. Strength conserves its energy for what matters. Strength understands that to be everything to everyone is to be nothing to anyone. You've been taught that strength is constant availability. That real goodness means never disappointing anyone. That if someone is upset with you, you have failed. But think about who benefits from that definition. Who benefits from you believing that your discomfort is less important than theirs? Who benefits from you believing that your time is theirs to spend? Who benefits from you believing that saying no is a moral failure? The takers, the users, the people who built their comfort on your compliance. Here's the quote that will rewire everything. True kindness requires boundaries. Without them, kindness becomes self-destruction disguised as virtue. Read that again. You cannot give from an empty cup. You cannot pour from a vessel that's cracked. You cannot love others sustainably while hating yourself quietly. The most kind thing you can do for the people you love is to protect the version of you that loves them. And that version requires boundaries. That version requires rest. That version requires the ability to say no to what drains it so it can say yes to what matters. This is the shift. From performative niceness to genuine kindness. From reactive people-pleasing to intentional generosity. From weakness disguised as virtue to strength that serves. You are not a bad person for having needs. You are not cruel for protecting your peace. You are not weak for saying no. You are finally honest. And honesty to people who built their world on your performance will always feel like a betrayal. Let them feel it. Let them adjust. Let them learn that your kindness now has boundaries. And watch what happens. Watch who stays. Watch who steps up. Watch who finally sees you instead of just seeing what you can do for them. Because here's the final truth. The one that will echo in your mind long after this moment. You don't need to be liked by everyone. You need to be respected by the ones who matter. And respect is not earned by saying yes. Respect is earned by standing still. When the world tries to move you, you were never meant to be a vending machine. You were meant to be a person. And persons have preferences. Persons have limits. Persons have the right to choose what they give to whom and when. That is not selfish. That is human. That is not weak. That is strength. And that is not cruelty. That is the truest form of kindness there is. The week changed you. Now the real work begins. The work of staying, of maintaining, of remembering that you are not nice anymore. You are intentional, and intentional is the only thing worth being. The dark side of being too nice. Your niceness is not your virtue. It's your vulnerability. And there are people in your life right now who know exactly how to exploit it. Let me show you something you've never allowed yourself to see. Every time you said yes when you wanted to say no, you weren't being generous. You were broadcasting a signal that says, my boundaries are negotiable. My comfort doesn't matter. I can be pushed. And there are people in this world who are wired to detect that signal. They don't look like villains. They don't wear warning signs. They look like friends, partners, bosses, family members. But they operate with a dark instinct that most nice people never understand. They are looking for you. Read that again. They are looking for you. Manipulators don't target strong people. They don't target people with clear boundaries. They don't target people who say no without guilt. They target the people pleasers, the conflict avoiders, the ones who have been trained to believe that their value lies in what they give. And you've been wearing a neon sign your entire life. Here's the part nobody tells you about the hidden power dynamics in relationships. Every relationship has a power dynamic. Every single one. The question is not whether power exists. It's who holds it and whether they're conscious of it. When you are nice, when you give more than you receive, when you apologize for existing, when you shrink to accommodate, you are not being selfless. You are ceding power. And the person on the other side? They don't have to be a narcissist to take it. They just have to be human. Because humans by nature will occupy whatever space you leave empty. Let that sink in. They will occupy whatever space you leave empty. You leave your time empty, they fill it with their demands. You leave your energy empty, they fill it with their problems. You leave your identity empty, they fill it with their expectations. And then you wonder why you feel invisible, why you feel used, why you feel like you're constantly giving and never receiving. This is the dark side of being too nice. It doesn't make you loved, it makes you a resource. Wait, here's where it gets dangerous. Because when you finally wake up, when you finally set a boundary, when you finally say no, the dynamic flips. And the people who benefited from your compliance will not let go quietly. They will call you selfish. They will call you changed. They will call you cruel. They will ask, "What happened to the old you? I liked the old you better." Let me translate that for you. What happened to the old you means what happened to the version of you I could control. I like the old you better means I liked the version of you that didn't cost me anything. This is the moment of truth. The moment you see the relationship for what it actually was. Not a connection, not love. A transaction you gave, they took. And the moment you stopped giving, they showed you who they really were. Here's the quote that will haunt you. Your niceness didn't attract love. It attracted people who needed someone who wouldn't say no. Read that again, because this is the truth that changes everything. You have spent your life believing that if you were just nice enough, just giving enough, just selfless enough, someone would finally love you the way you needed to be loved. That someone would see your sacrifices and reciprocate. That someone would protect you the way you protected everyone else. But that's not how it works. Niceness does not attract protectors, it attracts predators. Not because you're weak, because you're available, because you've been trained to believe that your needs are secondary, because you will tolerate what others would walk away from. And the people who need to control, the people who need to dominate, the people who need someone to manage their emotions, absorb their chaos, and validate their existence, they find you. They always find you. But here's the twist. You are not the victim you think you are, because somewhere along the way you made a choice. Maybe not consciously, maybe not intentionally, but you made it. You chose to outsource your worth to other people. You chose to believe that being needed was the same as being loved. You chose to fill the emptiness inside you with the validation of others. And that choice made you dependent. Emotional dependency is not love. Emotional dependency is addiction, and like any addiction, it requires you to give up your power to the thing you need. Breaking free means withdrawing. It means feeling the emptiness without filling it with someone else's approval. It means sitting in the discomfort of being alone with yourself. It means discovering that you don't need anyone to tell you that you exist, because you already know. This is the dark side of being too nice. And this is the light that comes after. You are not weak for having been used. You were conditioned, you were trained. You were taught that your worth was external, that your value was in your giving, that your existence was justified by what you provided. But that was the lie. The truth is this: you are always enough. You just never gave yourself permission to believe it. And now you know. Now you see. Now you can never unsee. The people who exploited your niceness, they will find someone else. They always do. But you get to walk away. You get to rebuild. You get to become someone who is kind by choice, not by compulsion. Someone who gives because they want to, not because they're afraid not to. Someone who is no longer a target. Because the strongest boundary you can set is the one that tells the world, I am not available for exploitation. Not anymore, not ever again. And when you say that, when you mean it, something shifts. The predators move on, the users disappear, and the people who remain, the ones who respect your walls because they have their own, those are the ones worth keeping. Now you know the dark side. Now you know the truth. Now you know what you've been carrying. The question is, what do you do with it? Building a balanced identity. You've seen the dark side. You've felt the power shift. You've watched people walk away and felt relief instead of panic. Now comes the hardest part, not the transformation, the integration. Because here's the truth, nobody tells you about becoming less nice. The pendulum swings, and if you're not careful, you'll swing from one extreme to the other, from doormat to fortress, from people pleaser to people pusher, and neither is who you're meant to be. Let me show you the difference between being kind and being weak, between strength and cruelty, between boundaries and walls. Because if you get this wrong, you don't reclaim your power, you just build a new prison. Here's the part nobody tells you about kindness. True kindness requires strength. Real kindness is not the absence of a no, it's the presence of a choice. When you can say no but choose to say yes, that's kindness. When you can walk away but choose to stay, that's love. But when you can't say no, when you're incapable of leaving, when your yes is not a choice but a compulsion, that's not kindness, that's fear. Read that again. That's fear. And people can feel the difference. They may not be able to name it, but they know. They know when your giving comes from abundance and when it comes from desperation. They know when your presence is a gift and when it's a plea. The question is, this is where the selective kindness framework comes in. A way to be kind without being weak. A way to give without being taken. A way to love without losing yourself. 3 pillars. 3 questions you ask yourself before every yes. Pillar 1. Capacity. Do I have the energy, time, and emotional bandwidth for this? Not tomorrow, not in theory, right now. If the answer is no, the answer is no. No explanation, no justification, no guilt. Your capacity is not negotiable, and treating it like it is how you ended up empty. Pillar 2. Reciprocity. Is this relationship balanced? Not transactional, balanced. Does this person show up for you the way you show up for them? Do they celebrate your wins? Do they carry your weight when you're struggling? Or do you give and they take, give and they take, give and they take until you have nothing left? If the balance is off, you don't give more to fix it. You give less until it balances, or you walk away. Pillar 3, intent. Am I giving because I want to? Or because I'm afraid of what happens if I don't? This is the most dangerous question, because it reveals the hidden driver behind most of your generosity. The fear of rejection, the fear of conflict, the fear of being seen as selfish, the fear of being alone. When fear is the engine, kindness is the mask, and eventually the mask cracks. Let that sink in. These 3 questions take 5 seconds, but they will save you years of resentment, because they separate emotional intelligence from emotional submission. And here's the difference. Emotional intelligence is knowing what you feel, what others feel, and choosing how to respond. Emotional submission is knowing what others feel and making it your responsibility to fix. Emotional intelligence says, I see you're struggling. I can help if I have capacity. Emotional submission says, I see you're struggling. I must help even if I don't have capacity. Because if I don't, you'll be upset. And if you're upset, I'll feel guilty. And if I feel guilty, I'll spiral, so I'll just say yes. You see the difference? One is a choice, one is a compulsion. Wait, here's the part that will change how you see every interaction. When you give from compulsion, you are not helping anyone. You are enabling dependency. You are training people to rely on you instead of themselves. You are creating a dynamic where your worth is tied to your output. And eventually, you will burn out. And when you burn out, you will resent them for what you freely gave. And that resentment, that's not their fault. That's the price of giving without boundaries. So when do you give? And when do you withdraw? You give when you have capacity, when the relationship is balanced, when your intent is clear and clean. You withdraw when you're empty, when the relationship is one-sided, when fear is driving your yes. And here's the radical truth that will set you free. Withdrawing is not punishment. It's protection. You are not punishing someone by protecting your energy. You are not being cruel by saying no. You are not abandoning anyone by refusing to abandon yourself. This is the balanced identity, the one that exists between the extremes, the one that is kind without being weak, strong without being cruel, generous without being depleted. You are not a vending machine. You are not a crisis hotline. You are not an emotional dumpster for everyone else's chaos. You are a person with limits, with needs, with the right to choose what you give to whom and when. And the people who belong in your life, they will respect that. They will honor your capacity. They will match your effort. They will love you for who you are, not for what you do for them. The people who don't, they will leave. And that's not a loss. That's a filter. So here's your challenge going forward. Stop asking, what do they need from me? Start asking, what do I have to give? Stop apologizing for your boundaries. Start thanking your boundaries for protecting what matters. Stop measuring your worth by how much you give. Start measuring your worth by how much you can receive without guilt. Because the final truth, the one that will complete your transformation, is this. You cannot truly give to others until you've learned to receive for yourself. You cannot truly love until you've stopped needing love to survive. You cannot truly be kind until you've stopped being nice. Now you have the framework. Now you have the questions. Now you have the choice. The week is over. The integration begins. And what you build from here is entirely up to you. Relationships after the shift. You changed. Now watch what happens to everyone around you. And prepare yourself. Because what you're about to see will either break your heart or set it free. The week is over. The boundaries are drawn. The old version of you, the one who said yes to everything, apologized for existing, and bent until you cracked, is gone. And now, the relationships in your life are going through their own transformation. Some will survive, some will die, and some will be reborn into something you've never experienced before. Here's what nobody tells you about the aftermath. When you stop being nice, you don't just change yourself. You change the entire ecosystem you inhabit. Every relationship recalibrates. Every dynamic shifts. Every person who knew the old you is now forced to decide. Do they meet the new you, or do they walk away? And how they answer that question, that's the most honest thing they've ever shown you. Let me show you what to expect. The ones who leave, they'll go quietly, or they'll go loudly, but they'll go. These are the people who benefited from your compliance. The ones who filled their time with your energy. The ones who used your availability as their backup plan. The ones who never asked how you were doing, but always asked what you could do for them. When you set boundaries, they don't see a person taking care of themselves. They see a resource cutting off supply, and they don't stay where they can't take. Here's the part that will hurt. Some of them will blame you. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're selfish. They'll say you're not the person they thought you were. And they're right, you're not. You're someone they can't use anymore. Let that sink in. They're not mourning you, they're mourning their access to you. Let them go. Don't chase, don't explain. Don't try to prove that you're still good. Their departure is not a loss. It's a diagnosis. It's telling you exactly what. And here's the truth that will change how you see every relationship going forward. You didn't lose people when you stopped being nice. You filtered them. Read that again. You filtered them. And the people who remain, they're not the ones who tolerate you. They're the ones who choose you consciously, intentionally. without the dynamic of obligation or dependency. This is what real relationships feel like. And you've never experienced it before because you never gave anyone the chance. You were too busy performing, too busy giving, too busy being nice to ever discover who would stay when you stopped. Now you know. Now here's the final piece, the one that will make your stomach drop. Attraction dynamics. Respect vs. approval. Here's something they never teach you about human connection. People are not attracted to those who seek their approval. People are attracted to those who command their respect. When you were nice, you were seeking approval. Every yes, every accommodation, every boundary you erased. It was all a plea. Do you like me? Am I enough? Will you stay? And the more you sought approval, the less respect you received. Because approval seeking signals insecurity, and insecurity to the human brain signals low status. And low status, people don't respect it. They don't protect it. They don't invest in it. But when you stopped performing, when you became selective, intentional, unmovable, something flipped. You stopped seeking approval, and suddenly people started seeking yours. This is the paradox. The less you need, the more you're given. The less you chase, the more you're pursued. The less you perform, the more you're seen. You don't have to understand why it works. You just have to accept that it does. And now that you've experienced it, you can never go back. So here's where you stand now. Your relationships are recalibrating. The filters are working. The toxic ones are leaving. The uncertain ones are adjusting. The real ones are rising. And you're not the same person who entered any of these relationships. You're someone who knows what they're worth. Someone who gives from choice, not compulsion. Someone who loves without losing themselves. That person, she builds different relationships. Stronger ones, healthier ones, real ones. And what happens next? When people start showing up differently, when respect replaces approval, when love becomes mutual instead of one-sided, will change everything you thought you knew about connection. The shift is complete. The relationships are evolving, and you're finally free to find out who actually belongs beside you. Now watch, because the ones who stay, they're about to surprise you. The internal war, staying consistent. The week is over. The transformation is real, and now the real battle begins. You've set the boundaries, you've faced the confrontations, you've watched people walk away and felt the strange peace of letting them go. You've experienced the power shift, tasted the respect, breathed the air of emotional independence. But here's what nobody tells you about transformation. The old you doesn't die quietly. It waits, it watches, and the moment your guard drops, it tries to crawl back in. This is the internal war, and it will decide whether your week of change becomes a lifetime of freedom, or just a memory of what you almost became. Let me show you what's coming. The temptation to fall back, it won't come as a dramatic collapse. It will come as a whisper, a small moment. An old pattern dressed in familiar clothes. Someone will make a request, a small one, nothing major, and that voice, the one you thought you'd buried, will whisper, "Just say yes. It's not a big deal. You don't want to seem difficult again." Or someone will push a boundary, just a little, just a test, and your old programming will fire up. Maybe I was too harsh. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe I should apologize to keep the peace. This is the trap, the quiet return, not the big fall, the slow slide back into the person you swore you'd never be again. Let that sink in. The old you doesn't attack. It seduces. It offers you comfort, approval, the familiar feeling of being liked. It promises relief from the discomfort of being real. It tells you that being nice was easier, that being liked was better than being respected, that the old way, at least, didn't require you to stand alone. And in that moment, that one moment of fatigue, loneliness, or doubt, you will be tempted to reach for the old mask, to put it back on, to apologize for the growth, to shrink back into the version of yourself that everyone approved of. This is the internal war. And it is fought in silence, in solitude, in the space between who you were and who you're becoming. Handling criticism and backlash, here's the part that makes it worse. When you hold the line, when you refuse to go back, the criticism will come. Not from strangers, from people who knew the old you. People who preferred the old you. People who benefited from the old you. They will say, "You've become cold. You've become arrogant. You've changed." They will frame your growth as cruelty, your boundaries as selfishness, your self-respect as narcissism. And if you're not prepared for this, it will shake you. Because these are not enemies. These are people you loved, people you trusted, people whose opinions, once upon a time, would have sent you spiraling into self-doubt. Here's the truth you need to tattoo on your mind. Their criticism is not an observation, it's a negotiation. Read that again. It's a negotiation. They are not telling you who you've become. They are telling you who they need you to be. They are trying to pull you back into the role that served them. And they are using your own history of people-pleasing as leverage. The moment you see this, the criticism loses its power. It's not about you. It's about them. About their comfort. About their control. You don't have to argue. You don't have to defend. You don't have to prove that you're still good. You just have to stay. Strengthening your new identity. This is how you win the internal war. You stop treating your new identity as an experiment. You stop asking, "Is this who I am now?" You decide, and you decide every day. Identity is not discovered. Identity is built. Brick by brick, boundary by boundary, no by no. Every time you hold the line when the old voice whispers, you lay another brick. Every time you resist the urge to explain, to justify, to apologize for your existence, you strengthen the foundation. Every time you choose discomfort over self-betrayal, you become the person you've been trying to become. This is emotional discipline. And it is the most important skill you will ever develop, because emotions will come, the guilt will return, the anxiety will resurface. The old patterns will call to you like a drug you've been clean from for 7 days. But discipline is not the absence of emotion. Discipline is the ability to feel the emotion and choose differently anyway. Let that sink in. Discipline is not the absence of emotion, it's action despite emotion. You don't have to stop feeling guilty. You just have to stop letting guilt make your decisions. You don't have to stop wanting approval. You just have to stop betraying yourself to get it. Long-term consistency, here's the final truth, the one that separates the people who change from the people who stay changed. Consistency is not about being perfect, it's about being persistent. You will have days where you slip, days where you say yes when you meant no, days where you apologize when you had nothing to be sorry for, days where the old mask feels easier than the new truth. Those days do not erase your progress. They are not failures. They are reminders of why you started. The question is not whether you slip. The question is whether you get back up, whether you recommit, whether you remind yourself that you didn't survive the hardest week of your life just to hand your power back to people who never deserved it. You are not the person who started this week. You are not the person who said yes to everything. You are not the person who apologized for existing. You are the person who stood in the fire and didn't burn. You are the person who watched people walk away and felt relief instead of panic. You are the person who discovered that being real is better than being liked, and now you are the person who stays. The internal war is not fought once. It is fought every day, but every day you win, the battle gets easier. The voice gets quieter, the mask gets heavier, the truth gets lighter. And one day, sooner than you think, you'll wake up and realize that the war is over. Not because you stopped fighting, but because there's nothing left to fight for. Because you're not becoming the new you anymore. You are the new you. And the old you? The one who said yes when they meant no. The one who apologized for existing. The one who was nice until they disappeared. They're not gone. They're integrated. They're the foundation you built on. The reminder of who you never want to be again. Now the question is not whether you can change. You already have. The question is whether you'll stay. Power was never about becoming cold or less kind. It was always about choice. This week didn't change you, it revealed you. Beneath the automatic yes, the silent sacrifices, and the fear of rejection, there was someone real. Someone who knows when to give and when to stop. You've learned that kindness without boundaries is not kindness. It's self-abandonment. That guilt is not truth. That saying no is not rejection. It's self-respect. You didn't lose yourself, you found yourself. And now every day becomes a choice between the old version of you that performed for approval and the real version of you that simply exists without apology. Some days you'll fall back. That's human. But now you're aware, and awareness changes everything. Because once you see the truth, you realize something powerful. You were never weak. You were conditioned. And now you're awake. If this changed the way you see people, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to see this truth. And if you're ready to go deeper, join the channel membership for exclusive content that reveals what most people will never understand. Because once you see this, you can't unsee it.